Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, welcome back to FFC. I'm Maureen.
I'm Jeanette.
I'm Amanda.
And tonight we are talking season 9 of Chicago PD. Now we're not going to go super in depth because, honestly, you should have watched the season because it was good. So you should just be watching it anyway. But what our plan is we're going to go over the highlights of the season and give you the big things and give our thoughts on it. So you are ready to dive right back into season 10 when it starts up the third week in September, I believe. I think it starts the 18th, right? Is that right?
I think it's actually the 21st because 21st? I thought to myself that I could watch it on the plane on Hulu when I'm traveling to Chicago to see you. This will be perfect.
Yeah. Perfect. So we just want to make sure you're caught up, and we'll have Fire and Med in the same format, so you're caught up on all shows because I believe they all show back to back to back, right?
They do.
I've never watched them live.
They do now. They used to not do that, but now they all do back to back,
which makes our podcasting life a heck of a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For our NBC night.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what are some big storylines that really affected you this season?
Well, I mean, like the main one, before I even start talking about this main one, I want to just say that I'm kind of glad I was not watching live at the point that this happened, because where we dropped off on season 8 and where we pick up at the beginning of this season, where it's like Kim's life is just hanging in the balance here. Like, we know she's been found, but like she's been in surgery and we don't know what's going on. I would have been stressed had I not been able to binge watch this. So I was glad that we sort of tie that up pretty quickly in the beginning of this season. So that was good. But that storyline, as much as I hate it, I think gave us some really good Burzek moments. Mm-hmm. And we know that I love those.
And it really gave us a really good insight into who Kim's character is.
Mm-hmm.
She fought.
Yeah.
She was not messing around.
No, she is a superstar. I swear to my, I don't know. That woman can survive anything, I've decided.
I'm kind of hoping that in the next season they give her a bit of a break.
I think she needs one.
Just let her focus on Michaela and Adam and just attack someone else for a minute.
Yeah. No, I agree. Not that I want any of our characters.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Kim deserves a break because she's been through enough.
They do something to Kim, I feel like, every season.
Every season. It's like she's like Steve from Stranger Things.
Yes.
Only worse.
Freaking leave her alone.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
There's other people you can pick on.
Yeah. And this season, here, season 9, even her almost dying isn't the only thing that even happened to her.
Yeah.
There was so much more. There was the whole Michaela gets kidnapped, which that storyline stressed me out too, because being a mom,
sure did a lot of this.
I was like, oh my gosh, especially when they, were showing him talking to her in the playground. I'm like, oh my God, do I need to now find out what's going on at my school? Who's watching them when they're on the playground now? Because it's stressful.
Yeah.
That one frustrated me on a number of levels because that was the first time where her and Adam were out there on the street talking, and she overruled every single thing Adam was saying. You can't. And that was what frustrated me about Kim this season is. She only involved Adam when it was convenient for her, and then completely shut him out and refused to allow him to be a part of anything when it wasn't convenient for her. He's in her life or he's not.
Yeah. And I don't know why she did that, other than I don't know if maybe it had something to do with her almost dying before and just trying to find her relationship with Michaela, trying to figure out, because I think she even makes a comment one time in the season, I don't remember exactly when it happens, to him, what if you meet someone? What if you I think she was almost just scared of what if he doesn't stick around, and she's just trying to protect Michaela. I don't agree with the way she handled it at all, because we know, I think Adam hung the moon, and I think, he can do no wrong.
Too, then don't involve him in the way that you're involving him when it's convenient for you. If you're so worried, because I do think that's why she's doing it, is her relationship with Michaela. But then don't make him as big of a part as you're making him on those times when it's convenient, works out for you. Don't do it then. But you can't be back and forth and hurting him and torturing him through this process. You can't do that. It's not fair. It's not right.
And especially since he's given no signs to show that he would leave you or
Mhm.
Michaela if someone else came along.
Exactly.
So like you're just making this up in your head.
It's like when she
Yep.
broke up with him
Mhm.
when they're engaged. Like it was just a game.
Yeah. I don't know why she does that. I think she gets scared about
afraid.
something and she just pushes someone away.
Mhm.
But I'm hoping that's somewhat resolved. And because I think where we end season 9, they're in a good spot.
Mhm. They're starting to get to a good spot, I think.
They are. And I think, she's, involved. I mean, she's letting him be with Michaela more and like do things. He's offering to buy her a house. So
Man, I hope she takes
it
that.
up on it. I do too.
I don't think
Even
she
if-
will, and I think she's gonna make me mad again.
I hope I don't know. I'm gonna have hope that she's learned her lesson and that she is going to take this. Now, I think he's going to move in with them yet. No, I think that's going to go on all season long of them
Mhm.
finding their way back to each other. But maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I think season 10 is our Burzek season. I think it's going to
hope so.
happen by the end of the season. I think we're going to have them back. It's been long enough.
Yes.
I mean, it really has.
I think too with the house, the reason I think Kim will go for it is because Kim has realized what losing Michaela is like. So she's stepped up as a mom a little bit harder. So even if it doesn't have to do with Adam, she has to know that that's the better life for Michaela's in that house.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think she's good. She's very good about putting Michaela first, but
Mhm.
she puts everyone else last and in and out.
Yeah.
With Adam, she doesn't put
Yeah.
Michaela first because she's completely negating what Michaela wants and what's good for her in the situation of Adam. But in all
And
other
sometimes-
respects, she is.
I wonder if it's going to be one of those moments because we've seen Michaela this season finally called Kim mom. What if
No.
Michaela finally like calls Adam dad, and maybe that will be like a light bulb moment for Kim that will just be like, oh wow, this is the role that he's filling. I
Yeah.
hope so. There is speculation, and this is just something I've seen online. There's been some shots of Adam dressed up in a suit, which looks
Adopting her.
really good, by the way. But there's speculation that obviously they're going to, and there was a courtroom scene, so we were needing courtroom stuff. Now whether it is or not, fans are speculating that it might have something to do with Michaela. Again, and so maybe he's gonna get to adopt her. That would be really nice, I think.
Because even if they parented separately, that would be
Mhm.
better than what they're doing to her right now.
Yes, I agree.
Because Kim's like, Adam, come be involved. Oh, Adam, don't be involved. And that's triggering for Michaela, who's already had
Yes.
parents in and out of her life.
Definitely.
So I hope
Yes.
that's the case.
Yeah.
The
We'll
other big story, and I'm sure that we'll go back to Burzek at some point in this.
We always will.
But the other big story is Haley and Voight with Roy. Now, I'm not the biggest Haley fan.
Yeah.
I'm not. And I think the reason I'm not is because she has this superior attitude toward everyone.
Mhm.
And the thing is, I get you outrank a lot of these people, but every single department is going to be different. And while you may outrank them in title, you have not been there as long as them working for Voight as long as they have. So that's why she irritates me and rubs me the wrong way, because it's like, pull back a little bit and be more of a team player rather than I know better, I'm best sort of thing.
Yeah.
But when she
Yeah.
killed Roy, there's so many things about that frustrated me, with Voight especially. Why couldn't you have made up some story?
Okay, so I was just telling Jeanette, I
Mm-hmm.
rewatched the first 2 episodes of season 9
Mhm.
right before this, and I watched the last episode of season 9 just so I can get my gauge of what was in the season. So I just rewatched this whole Roy thing.
Mhm.
I'm still confused as to why they had to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it was a justified kill.
The killing
kill-
was, the beating wasn't.
I think it would have led to too many questions of how he got to the warehouse, why he was there, like what happened to him. Obviously, he was like,
But that's
think
happened
that's
before.
I agree. I'm not sure. I don't know. That confused me a little bit too. Other than just Roy just
to
thinking he
me-
can cover stuff up. I mean, this is his downfall. I mean, he always
Yes.
thinks he can just cover this up, and it's gonna catch up to you eventually. It almost did with this
Well, it-
storyline.
pretty much already did with between
Al.
Justin and Al and
Mhm.
all that stuff. So I don't know why he
Right?
he did this again, really, when I don't feel like it was that necessary.
Mhm.
Everybody wanted this guy dead.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody was gonna be like hard on this case. They were gonna be like, oh, well, you know what? Somebody beat the crap out of him and shot him.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I would have cleaned up the evidence, left them there, and then my team would have found them. So if any of the DNA would have been there, that's wise because my team's the one who found them. I mean, there was another way to go about that. And even rewatching it today, I was back to being really confused.
Well, and I think that like, I mean, I think Jay kind of made that point as far as like, this wasn't the way to handle it, because we had a big, like, I mean, there's always been tension between Jay and Hank, because I think Jay is one of the ones, and I don't know, I like Haley. I don't see the same things that you do in her, and that's okay. But I think both Haley and Jay, because even Kim and Adam, who I love to pieces, and Kevin, they're a little more willing to bend the rules at their will when it benefits someone they like. Jay and Haley tend to be the more straight and narrow. They're gonna police like by the book kind of thing. And normally, you know, Jay, I'm like, but I was on Jay's side, I think, with how things were going with Voight. I mean, I normally don't like anyone to go against Voight, but I think Jay made some really good points. I mean, this enough is enough in the way that he wants to handle things in his own way and try to cover things up. And he did. I mean, by putting Haley, I know that Haley is her own person and all, but she was put in that position, I think, because I mean, he had done these things. And I think the way she looks up to Hank, I think there was no way she was ever going to turn on him, and she was going to help him cover it up, even if it absolutely killed her.
But he also gave her an option. Do you want to stick with the story we had and go forward with that, or do you want to cover it up? He gave her the choice to back out.
Yeah, but I think she did. I mean, what was she supposed to do? Like, I think she was doing that to protect him. I think she has this need to protect him. The one thing that I remember from this season was when Jay like absolutely like knocks the hell out of like Voight. And I remember thinking, you know what? I'm glad someone has finally done it, because as much as I love Voight, because I do, what did he even say to him? Something about like, you don't know the woman you're sleeping with, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Bravo, Jay, for like standing up for her that way. But I mean, Jay also kind of, when the FBI came for that, they basically figured it out. I mean, Jay sort of saved the day on figuring out like how to make it all go away and let them get away with it.
And that killed Jay too.
It did.
That's not his MO.
No.
I did appreciate because Voight didn't go about it the right way. I still think that there was no reason to cover it up the way they did and send Haley down that spiral. That was stupid. But Jay pointed out to Voight, Heaven and I found her, and we did it the right way. We didn't have to go this way. You don't have to take all these shortcuts. And in the end, you didn't even find her. You were no closer to the truth when you started beating the crap out of him versus when he was shot.
Yeah.
So I agree with Jay there.
Yeah. I will say the second half of the season, though, I feel like we see a different Voight in that he's not as aggressive. And I admit, I don't like it.
I know.
Like,
I feel
it
the same
doesn't
way.
feel right anymore.
It's like he's trying to be too. The reason we like Voight is because he breaks the rules, and he's the bad boy. I mean, man. Sorry, that is a man, not a boy.
It's a man. Yeah.
Everybody else can be boys on that show. That not Voight. But I mean, we've had Voight this one way for 8 seasons. And then I felt like this season it changed. I feel like he changed a lot. His morals, and like, where did those come from?
Yeah. I don't know if they feel like there's more eyes on them, which I think there are, but still, like, I'd like to get back to like, can we have a little, like, where's the cage? Like, I miss those days.
I know.
Like, I know that sounds awful, but everybody who's ever put in those cage deserved it. So I don't know.
I think the biggest change came from how Haley reacted and took it. I mean, she was whacked out for a while. She wasn't sleeping. She was going crazy. She was having panic attacks. That is like, I had huge amounts of sympathy for Haley this season, and watching Jay watch her go through that was kind of heartbreaking.
And she just annoyed me all season. I honestly, and I don't hate Haley.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate her, but she is below Jay for me. And that's saying a lot, because Jay's not even on my top 10.
I think they're tied for me. I mean, they're still my least favorite.
She just annoys me with any storyline because I feel like if it's good for her, I feel like she will lie her pants off. But if it's for somebody else or something else, then her conscience just goes insane. And it's like one way or the other. Go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because you're giving me whiplash.
Yeah.
I'm mad at her from being all weird about the Roy thing still today. I shouldn't have watched those 2 episodes. She made me mad. Kim made me mad too, which I didn't stay mad at her for long.
No, I can never stay mad at Kim. Like, even though, I mean, I don't care. No matter what she does, I still forgive her pretty quickly because I love her. So
when she didn't want to go back, talk about the desk job, I'm like, excuse me.
But I mean, I guess if you're an like Upstead fan, I guess one good thing out of all of this mess that you got is they got married.
Yeah.
So, that's exciting. I guess. I mean, like I said, they're at the bottom for me. Like, good for them, but like it didn't.
But they
I
fit.
wasn't like, oh yay.
They
do fit.
They fit. I love them together. I feel like there's nobody else for either of them.
No.
They needed to be together. And I like it.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
But I think they have too many morals for me to like them. It sounds so bad.
Right.
It does, but it's Chicago. I mean, they're not supposed to have big. I mean, they can have morals, but
I get upset when their morals stop them from getting what really matters.
Yes.
But like in the case of Kim, I was like, yeah, you stick to your guns and you do what you got to do to find her because that's what worked. But like even with Haley,
bad people.
Even with Haley, bad people. When Jay turned over that documentation to that guy for helping his brother out, Jay wouldn't have done that for anybody else. No. Not even Voight. And I get that he's in love with Haley and Haley's his wife. I get it. But you're on a team that relies so heavily on each other. You have to be a team player or you're not a team player.
Yeah.
You're willing to do whatever it takes or you're not willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
At least under Voight's command.
I mean, I think he did it for Voight too, though, a little bit, because I think, the guy was basically saying, like, I won't pursue, like, I won't prosecute you or Haley, if you'll help me get Voight. And so I think even though I think he even told Voight this, like, even though like he doesn't agree with his methods, I mean, I think Jay, just like everybody else, this is what I love about that unit. They are a family. Yeah. When push comes to shove, even if they don't agree with each other, like, or they don't like how somebody's handling something, they're going to stand up for each other. And they're going to like protect each other. So
except for both Haley and Jay in the field in this season, because they were both mad at Voight. When Voight would give an order, they would go outright against it and voice it in front of the other team. I was like, no, he is the head of, whether you like it or not, he is the head of this. And you either do something about it to remove him or you don't put people's lives in jeopardy by going up against him in the field.
Yeah, and at that part, I will agree that I didn't agree with any of that. Like, I hope we're over that by next season.
Talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. Like that's my thing is if they needed help, they would have had no problem with anything Voight did if it benefited them. Yeah. I mean, if let's say something, I'm trying to think of anybody's family. The only one I can think of is Will. So if something happened to Will, you don't think that Jay would be absolutely okay with?
We would.
With Voight going 110% at the person who did it?
Sure.
Yes.
No, he definitely
that's
would.
what I'm talking about, their wishy-washiness. Yeah. I'm like, either get on board with the Voight train or get off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because you need to have, in that kind of unit, you need to have a direct leader. And if you don't serve a direct leader, then you're gonna get people killed.
And trust. I mean, it's not like Voight's the most trustworthy person in the entire world, but I feel like he is with his team.
Exactly.
Yes.
He's even said, tell me the truth so I can protect you with a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what frustrates me. I'm getting my frustrations out.
I was frustrated with how Jay tried to manage Voight in the end of the season or like midway through. I didn't like that. Yeah. I get you're mad. I totally understand where you're coming from when you're angry. Don't manage your boss. Don't do that. That was ridiculous.
I agree for sure.
Can we talk about Kevin for a little bit?
Yes.
Kevin, let's talk about frustrating because he had a storyline this season that just drove me nuts.
I agree.
And it's a touchy one too. And it was such a touchy one. And I didn't like getting mad at him for this situation.
You feel like you can't.
But I feel like it was I'm going to say the exact same. It's the exact same I felt about Jay and Haley.
Yeah.
You were not being respectful to Voight. You're questioning all of him, even though you know he would die for you.
Even Ruzek, he questioned Ruzek.
Yeah.
He was questioning everybody. And
Mhm.
it was so, I'm like, we have sat here for 9 years, almost 10 years, watching you guys interact with each other. And all of a sudden you just can't trust these people.
Yes, exactly.
Like what?
Yeah.
It made no sense of like, I am all for the back story of it and why they had to do it.
Yeah.
And they kind of had to
get
write it in.
They did.
Mhm.
And I'm 100% behind it.
Yeah.
But I felt like there was a better way to write that.
I agree.
That wasn't
Yeah.
so out of
Yeah.
character for Kevin, I felt
Yeah.
like.
That's exactly what it was.
Just it didn't feel like him. It didn't feel normal.
Mhm.
It just felt kind of like, one, out of the blue.
Yeah.
And then 2, so out of character. I mean, you're just looking both ways and going, what? Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
No, I
So-
agree. That wasn't even the storyline I was thinking of in my head, but that one definitely frustrated me too.
Well, there was
actually.
even a scene within that where it was Kevin was being a hypocrite because it was when the girl who wanted Voight with for a while, when her son died.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was that season
chief.
9?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So when her son
was-
died,
Roy killed him.
yeah.
He
Ah.
I think he died in season 8.
he did.
Mhm.
And then they were trying to get him at the
Yeah.
beginning of season 9.
But they
But
bent
yes,
the
her.
rules for him.
Yep.
And he was a
Mhm.
black kid. They bent the rules for him. And in this season, there was one point where they were trying to help some kid who was white. And Kevin's like, we would never do this for a black kid. You just did it last season though.
Yeah.
You can't. I get that this is 100% a topic that needed to be addressed in PD because it is the culture that we live in right now and it has to be addressed. It has to be put into a police show. You
Yes.
can't avoid it. But
Mhm.
you also can do it without being a hypocrite. You can't say you can't stay so hardcore of no white person deserves this, but all black people do it. If you don't do it for a black person, then you're a racist and we would never do that for a black person, sort of thing. You know, that kind of
Which isn't, I mean, that's not what anybody wants.
no.
I mean, I'm not going to say everybody, but I know all 3 of us, we want the police in the real world to change.
Yeah.
It needs to change.
No, it has to change for
It
sure.
has to change.
That
and that's
scene
a
where Kevin
serious
was-
topic.
That scene where Kevin was with that drug dealer and that cop
Yes.
just shot him. Like
Yeah.
I was 1000% in Kevin's corner for that. Like
Yes.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even
absolutely.
when he went into that building profiling because he had a backpack and all he was doing was dropping off shoes. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
But that
the-
stuff
and
happens
that's how it
every day.
Exactly. But that's how every aspect of this should have been written, to the actual
Yes.
injustice,
Mhm.
not turning from these people who you know are not racist to these people who you know are not against you. Even with that stupid profiling system that they had where it made black people look similar and Jay had lost that person,
Mhm.
the whole team was irate about that.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
just say, now that this is the climate, you're all against me because I'm black and you're all white. You can't just
Yeah.
flip that switch.
No, because it's never been like that. I mean,
Mhm.
I can look at Kim. Does she care about color?
No.
No.
Mhm.
Rusick, does he? No. Voight? No. Kevin,
I don't
obviously
actually-
not. Like none of them.
Yeah.
This has never been a problem. So within the team.
Right.
Exactly.
This has never been
In
a problem
the
within the
outside
teams.
climate, yes, but not necessarily within the current team in season 9.
Mhm.
Yes.
And just to play devil's advocate, like, and I wonder if it wasn't just, that's what I was trying to do. This is how I justify all my favorite characters and like the things I don't agree with. I try to get inside their head and I'm like, why would you do this?
Mhm.
But I mean, I think he was just angry.
He
I think
was.
just like, everyone was. And I think it was, his anger just got misplaced.
Mm-hmm.
And do I agree with it? No. Do I understand how that could possibly
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
for sure.
I can.
So I don't know.
I just don't like
I think it just went on too long
Yeah.
within the team.
that for sure.
Yeah. I agree
I
with
feel
that.
like I said before, I feel like it was a conversation that needed to be had because I feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had within the real
Mhm.
world.
Mm-hmm.
And
It was
I think that
unavoidable.
it's very important for shows, really, I mean, all of our shows that we watch, for them
Yeah.
to bring in real world problems. But I
Mhm.
feel like there should be, it's also what am I trying to think of? Like with the whole COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
We
If
want to
it's-
escape it a little bit instead of having it
You
hammered in
do
our
want to
face.
escape it a little bit because it is these TV shows is our way to get away from all the bad in the world.
Yeah. But sometimes, like, if you don't live that situation, like if you're not somebody who's ever had to actually be witness to any of that, seeing it on the TV screen makes it real. Sometimes
Yeah.
it makes it brings awareness. Like, I think that's what they're trying to do. And I'm glad that they did it. You know, but I agree that
absolutely.
It was just the length of it that was the issue.
I agree.
It was the length of it, and it was.
He got weird about it.
I felt like it wasn't believable, and I feel like such a serious topic that needed to be covered should have been more realistic within not just real
Within the
life
show.
realistic, within the show realistic, to make us understand. I mean, to make us understand what is actually going on, because all my mind is, why is he being an ass to his team? Like my mind wasn't on the actual problem.
Yeah.
It was
Agreed.
on, why is Kevin acting like that? Like what is, there was just I feel like there was a better way to write it
100%.
and way to play it out.
I think it would have been nice to see him continue to fight the actual problem, because there is a problem and it needs to be fought and it needs to be. So I think if we would have seen Kevin either utilize his team or even distance himself from his team a little bit, but not openly attack them. That was the problem. He openly attacked them and it went on too long. But if I could even see him distancing himself to make this point of, you know what, you don't understand what I'm going through. And they don't. We don't understand what they're going through either.
No,
we can't, but I think
we never
Adam
can.
said that, I think he said, like, no, I don't understand because I can't understand, but like,
even that set Kevin
here
off
for you, like,
I know.
Yeah.
And I liked how Rosick put it.
Yeah.
He's like, he wants to be there for him, but he doesn't know how. And I mean, all three of us, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
We've never had to be in that situation. Thank God.
Yeah.
And I couldn't imagine. I don't want to imagine how scary that is.
And I think for me, like, we just love Kevin's character so much, and we love all these other characters so much, and we've watched them build up this family team atmosphere over the past 9 years. So when something interrupts that or interferes with that or throws it out of whack, it's like, no, we're not comfortable with that. Take it out on the real enemy.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so hard, is because it was like, you want to have this discussion of these problems, but at the same time, you're like,
yeah,
you're not doing it correctly.
Even with Celeste. Like when that was weird.
That's the storyline that I was talking about that frustrated me. I totally forgot about this other one. But like that one frustrated me because it's like, Kevin, like,
but I think she's going to be back in his life this season.
I hope so.
I hope so, because I liked her
a
lot.
Too. And I like them together.
I think she's good for him.
Yes,
I really do. And so I hope that they find their way to like work that out.
I feel like they will. I feel like,
because Kevin needs someone. Okay, Kevin.
I know.
Kevin is a fine looking man.
Sorry, Ben.
Who is a good man too. Well, I agree.
He is a good man.
He's a good man, and he deserves some love. And I've been saying this since I started the show. Like, why doesn't Kevin have a girlfriend? Kevin needs a girlfriend. And so we need this to work.
I know. And I love their chemistry.
He was right in when he said to her, when she said, why didn't you tell me? He's like, well, you would have had the same reaction. I agree, she would have. It probably would not have been as extreme as you lying to her for months at a time and then being like, oh, hey, by the way.
That was, I got frustrated with him during that too.
I'm cool with him not telling her the first night, because
no, not the first night.
But after a couple nights of fun, it's probably time to be honest about who you actually are.
Yes, if you're having that kind of relationship with someone, you can't lie, because you're lying to this person.
Yes.
And especially
if you
when it
can't be honest, you shouldn't be with them.
Right. And when it came to that student, like, he let her, because he felt he had to, he let her just berate these cops who had no control of the situation. And it made her mad that it was a black cop driver. But Kevin would have done whatever he could to protect that kid had he known that this was a threat. That's why Kevin went in the car with him, because Kevin wanted to protect this kid. And so I agree with him that she would have been like, nope, putting the brakes on this. We can't be together. You're a cop and I'm against police right now. So I get that. I get that idea. I just think he pushed it on way too long and it got weird.
Yeah. I totally agree.
I think we have a theme for this season.
Weird.
Storylines went on too long.
Yes.
Well, they kind of did.
And
yeah.
you know what? That's what we really like about the Chicago shows. And we've mentioned this on the podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
What we like about Chicago and why it's so different from our other shows is because it's such a fast-paced show.
Yeah.
Even when somebody dies, they're over it by the next episode.
Yeah.
So this season, I felt like they stayed on things and it did not feel like the other seasons. It just felt off. Like with Grey's Anatomy, they do stick on things sometimes and it doesn't really bother me because
that's what they do.
That's what they do. That's what I am used to on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that on Chicago. I'm used to in Chicago being boom, 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 boom. We're moving.
Like we have storylines that pop back every once in a while and that's fine. But like, even like the second half of this whole season was, which I liked the Anna storyline because I really liked her character, you know, rest in peace. I actually was pretty sad about that.
Yeah.
But it was the whole second half of the season for the most part. I mean, it was a long thing.
Yeah.
And they would introduce new cases and get over it, but then there's this other storyline that just never went away.
Yeah.
Yep. So did anybody like anything about this season?
I did like a lot of it.
Yeah. No, I definitely
I feel like we just been bitching.
I mean, one of the things I did like was like, I liked Anna. I liked what we were building up
about her.
With her and Voight. I liked this like fatherly like relationship that they were building.
Yeah.
And so I was pretty bummed that like they killed her, to be honest with you.
I felt heartbroken for him.
Yeah.
And I think I think Hank's going to struggle with that for sure.
Losing people.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, that's why Voight does things the way he does. It's a self-protection.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but you can at least understand why he does the things he does.
I mean, who does Hank have anymore?
No
Other
one.
than his team.
Nobody. Well, his grandson, but even that, he's not very close to him because they moved away.
He never sees him.
I mean,
he's lost his son. He's
New
lost
York, right? I mean, like,
yeah. I mean, he has nobody except his team now. So I feel like when he keeps losing people after people, it's gonna start affecting him. It's gonna affect anybody.
And I think that's why he didn't come at Jay when Jay corrected him in the field. And I think that's why he kind of let Jay walk over him a little bit because he's realizing this is all I've got. And then when Anna died, it was just like a whole nother wave of what has happened. What have I lost again? He fought so hard to keep her alive and functioning and out of harm's way. And it was so sad to watch that play out. I feel like every season Chicago PD did that to us in some way, shape, or form.
Somebody big dies every season. Like I feel like Anna was a lot like Nadia. Like going throwback, it felt the same. Yeah, because it felt like this was somebody you got attached to.
I actually liked Anna more. I was really hoping we were going to keep her around. She was spunky, but like I really liked her a lot.
I did too. I loved her and Voight's relationship.
I did too.
Really liked it. I feel like that was. It was nice to see Voight being that protective over somebody again, like he used to be with like Aaron.
Yeah, we hadn't seen that since Aaron. I think was the last person we saw him kind of be that way. Because I think he's like that a little bit with Haley, but not to that extent. Because I think she won't let him get quite that close. I think he would if she would allow it.
I think he will back her up on absolutely anything, no matter what it is. But that's his side, not her side.
Yeah.
And I think that she protects him in the ways that she thinks she can, but I don't think Haley like really understands herself enough to be able to do that. And I like hard Voight. I like him being this hard personality that goes out and does the wrong thing for the right reasons to get the right result. But I also love watching him be softened by relationships. Like when he's around his grandson, I love it.
I agree.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that's what I miss when we just mentioned Aaron. I mean, I love Sophia Bush, but I think that is the aspect that I missed most about her character being on the show was her relationship with Voight and just the side that she brought out to him.
Yeah. Because it was he could be vulnerable. And I don't think he's been vulnerable since Aaron left.
Yeah. Maybe he needs a girlfriend. This is what needs to happen.
Well, I liked him with Roy's, not Roy's mom. Oh my gosh.
Is it Sam? Is that her name?
Sam. I liked him with Sam. I was shipping with Olivia Benson. I mean, I've shipped him with a few different people as we went on, but
Yes.
nothing yet.
I don't think Voight will let anybody in that way.
That's why we need somebody to sneak up on him and like it just happen. I don't know. It'd be nice, I think.
I
I
don't
think
know
it
if he'll
would
let anybody
I know.
be as close. I think he's still in love with his wife.
That's
Which is
exactly
so
what I was thinking.
sweet, but
They were together for a
Yeah.
long time before she died. And it's not like
Yeah.
he watched her die slowly and painfully.
yeah.
I mean, that sticks with you.
Yeah.
I
I
say that
know.
my daughter, because his wife died of breast cancer, right? Or cancer of some sort.
I don't remember if it was breast cancer.
Yeah. I don't remember
Yeah.
what kind.
My daughter looked at me, we were having a girls' day, and she said, my middle child, and she said, Mommy, you're a superhero. And I laughed. She's like, well, you are kind of, you're a superhero of breast cancer. And I said, okay, it's fine. And then she looked at me and she said, Mommy, I'm really glad you survived breast cancer. Like,
Oh.
me too, kid.
Oh.
So like I get that pain of watching I've watched several people in my family and my close friends die from cancer.
Yeah.
And so I know what that does to you. Like I have a friend who died, and it'll be 4 years ago, November 4th. And even to this day, just the thought of her will hit me super hard. And so that Voight has refused to let that go because he's used that as a shield all these years. So I don't think he will allow anyone to get that, because I think that's what really truly broke him, was the loss of her.
No, I agree.
I think
And
she
then-
kept him good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in between, he's lost a lot. So that's why, I don't know that he will let anybody get close, but
It would be nice.
it would be nice because I think
It would.
I think it would really help him.
Yes.
Or
a lot.
maybe what'll happen with Roy, maybe Haley will finally let him in because she's his favorite of the unit for sure. Not really
I
sure.
know.
Like as soon as she walked in, she became his favorite.
So she was no nonsense and she was all business. And she's like, no, this is what we're doing.
Well, and she had a terrible father figure, so she needs that figure in her life too. So yeah.
For sure. I would like to see that next season. And I think the
Me
other
too.
aspect that we said we're going to talk about Berserk again. There's a scene that I constantly forget about because and every single PD episode we talk about, or every single time it's brought up in our Chicago chat, I forget about this because I just throw it to the back of my mind. I don't want to think about it. When Adam almost died from that overdose, I constantly forget about it because I don't want to. That was my husband actually watched that episode and he's like, wait, he's not gonna. Is he actually? Why is he taking it? Like it's either that or he's dead.
Thank God for my mother because she I wasn't quite caught up yet, but she was like, have you gotten to the most recent episode? Because she's huge, Voight is her number one. She already told me to go to Chicago. She's like, you need to get a picture of Voight for your mama. I'm like, I'll do my best. But Ruzek's her number two. She loves him as well. And she was like, I know. But she was just like, oh my gosh. She's like, Adam. And I'm like, what happened? I'm like, wait, I'm not there yet. But so thank God for her, or I would have thought, because she's got a big mouth most of the watch, she'll listen to this episode. That's okay. She knows she does. So she's bad about spoiling stuff. So I'm like, if he would have died, she would have told me. So I was like, it's cool. She would have told me if he wasn't going to be okay. But it was close.
I was real freaked out because you guys all caught up way before I did.
Yeah.
So all of you were freaking out when he first did it, or you were talking about how upset you were. So I was trying to avoid spoilers. Yeah, but I was trying to avoid any spoilers. And you guys are pretty good in the current season about holding back on some of those until everyone has seen it.
Yeah, true.
So when I saw him freaking out, I was like, I actually genuinely thought he was going to die. And this was going to be what broke him. That's really where my head went. I was so invested in it. Even my husband, who he doesn't watch the show all the time. But when it's on, he's like, what's happening? What they're doing? Usually the question is that guy died yet? About Jay. I don't know why he doesn't like Jesse Lee Silver, but he can't stand him. Yeah. I just hate his face. Why? He's pretty. Is that why?
It's a beautiful face. How could you hate it?
He's very handsome.
He is super handsome. And I like Jay. But my husband, when Ruzik was on the floor, he's like, oh no, that's not good. That's not good. That's really bad. So even my husband, who doesn't watch this, he was, and that's credit to Patty, because we all thought he died. And technically he did for a second. Right?
I guess, he kind of did, right? They didn't have to give him the Narcan or whatever. Yeah.
See, I never thought he was really going to die. The only thing that I was worried about was if this was going to trigger some kind of habit.
Like an Antonio situation.
Yes, exactly like Antonio did. I was like, oh man, are they going to do this again?
Oh, I would have been mad if we like redid that.
Poor Ruzek
storyline.
tried so hard to find every single avenue to say no to this guy. Every single
Yeah.
avenue he could. Felt so bad for him when he finally took it. But I love the comparison of when Kim was gone. And you can still, and I know Jeanette says this every time, that she can still hear how he yells out at the team that Kim is missing. We get to see Kim have that same fear of him. And I like that we get, because these are, even if they aren't romantically linked, you can see the passion that they have for keeping each other
Yes.
alive above all
Yeah.
things, all other things. And I think that Kim would have honestly shot anyone in her way of keeping her from Ruzek.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think, I mean, just the way he feels about her, I do think it's reciprocated.
Yeah,
I
she's
do
just
too.
afraid.
I'm not even sure she realizes it, that it's reciprocated, but it is. And I think that even though I hated that moment of him almost dying, I think it needed to happen because I think it was the turning point for her to realize like how much she needs him in her life. And then also him like on the, tell Michaela that I love her,
Oh,
so I think it needed to happen to give her like that, like wake up call of, okay, he's here to stay. Like he loves her and he needs to be in her life. So, because I think we saw her start to turn around after that, as far as the relationship with Michaela went.
was it after that she didn't text him about the dinner, or was it
No,
before
that was before. It was
Okay.
before. So this was the turning point for like their relationship. It was all good since then. So
I hope so.
Yeah.
fingers
And I really
crossed.
do hope to see Celeste come back and be with Kevin. I
Mhm.
hope that we see
Yes.
Voight deal with this rather than hold this Anna death
Mhm.
in and get like he did with Al, because you know that Voight's going to internalize this. He's going to,
Yeah.
this is his fault. This is all on him. He did this to her, and he's going to, I want to watch the team pull him out.
Yeah.
Is what I want there.
I
And then
know.
obviously, Ruzek buys her that house, and I want to see them living in there happily for the first time. Even if Ruzek's not there with him at first, I think it's a pretty safe bet that he will be there with them
I think he
eventually.
will.
But
Yeah.
Michaela needs that, and Kim needs that. They need it.
Yes.
And I would like to see more of Jay and Haley being able to enjoy their marriage rather than the whole time fighting this insomnia crackpot storyline.
Yeah. No,
I would like to see them actually, because honestly, I think Jay makes me like Haley better.
Yes.
Because Jay is below Haley in rank, but Haley doesn't lord it over him all the time. And she has a couple times before they got married, but I think he makes her better. I think he softens her, and I need to see more of her soften so I can actually get on board with Haley.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. And then
And
I think you just mentioned we hope Celeste comes back. I definitely hope she's coming back.
Mhm.
We are getting another character that we met last season to come back though.
Oh, yeah.
Dante Torres, the recruit that Jay was working with, that they had.
I really liked him.
I liked him. And I was so, when they started like, is he in a gang? Is he like double crossing them? I was like, oh no, I don't want that, because I like him. It was nice to see like someone new that I felt like could actually fit in with the group once they get in there. And so I'm glad that didn't happen. And I was happy to see that he's returning. Now, I didn't read the article, I just read the headline. So I'm not completely sure of in what capacity he's returning. Is he a regular? Is he just going to be in for, I hope he's at least a reoccurring.
I'd like him to be a regular.
I'm
Me
cool with him
too.
being a regular.
I like him.
Definitely.
But if he's in, who's out?
I don't think
Well,
anybody will be out.
He's just a recruit right now. So right
Okay.
now, I don't know.
New
Look at
people
fire. Look
scare
how many
me.
people they have
Well,
on fire.
We need another partner because we've got Berzek's a partner, Upstead's partner. Kevin needs a partner.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Unless they
no,
split
no,
up.
Upstead is not partner.
No, they're not
They're
anymore.
married,
yeah.
but Jay won't, or Voight won't let them be partners.
That's right.
Because in a relationship. So Jay would be partners with Dante. I think Haley's with
Kevin.
Bert Ruzek, and no, I think Kim is with Atwater, isn't she?
I don't know.
Because that's how they started off anyway.
They
I
always
mean,
switch around.
when they find something, they'll all go based on their strengths, so it doesn't really matter. But
as soon as they start sleeping with each other, Voight's got to split them up again because you can't be partners with each other, right? So yeah.
So I think Kim is with Atwater with Kevin.
She might be now. Yeah.
So I think next year we have a lot of plans and hopes for this. And as much as we've said this on the Resident podcast so many times, but we talk negatively about the show, not because we hate it and it sucks, but because we are passionate about these people. And when something affects our people, it affects us. So we want to stand up for what bothers us. And PD is not supposed to be a light, airy, fun show. Like there's supposed to be things that are devastating. There's supposed to be things that tick you off. That's how the Chicago shows are designed. It's rescuing, it's medical things. It's designed to make you feel that way about the storylines and to have that opinion. So I think it's a credit to the writing and the actors who make us be this passionate about them. So I think for me next year, I'd like to see, I keep wanting to call him Burzek, but I just want to see Kim and Michaela in the house. And Burgess, that's her last name, Burgess. I could not separate it from Burzek. I'd like to
They
see
belong together.
It's true. I'd like to see Kim and Michaela in the house, and by the end of the season, I would like to see Adam installed there as well. I'd like to see Celeste and Kevin actually come back and fix that nonsense and create a storyline that's understanding and that bridges a gap that needs to be bridged. And I think that Kevin's the one who can really do that. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the team pull Voight out of his nonsense. I'd like to see Jay pull Haley up and bring her to where her character should be, which is a little softer, a little more less panicky, a little less anxious, because she feels secure in who she is as a cop, but also as a wife.
Yeah. No, I
I
agree.
want to see Dante come back.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like
I
that
agree
guy.
I agree with all of that. I specifically, like, I think I want it to be Haley that helps Voight get through his
I would like
stuff with
that. Yeah.
Anna. And then, of course, like, I mean, I know the show isn't supposed to be light and airy, but every once in a while we have, like, I want to see more of the funny, like, less serious moments here and there, because maybe that was the biggest issue with last season. I can't think of a whole lot.
Serious.
It was so much drama just back to back to back. I'd like to see a little more of the fun stuff, and maybe, let that be like with like Burzek and their house and Michaela. Like, let's see some little fun family moments. I think that would be really good.
Honestly, that's why I started to like Burzek. It's because of his sarcastic mouth.
Yeah.
Couple seasons. That's why I fell in love with this character, because he was funny.
Yep.
And I want to see more crossovers, because I feel with the other shows, because I feel like and probably because of COVID, they've relaxed a little bit the last couple of seasons. I want to see more.
That bugged me too. Like when Kim got shot and they brought her to Chicago Med.
Where was Dr. Halstead?
You had like somebody we had no idea who they were being like the main person. I'm like, wait, why would you like film this all at Chicago Med?
Yeah.
And then
bringing the right people.
Not have anybody
Dr.
we know.
Marcel should have been doing that surgery. Like, hands down.
That was another thing that bothered me.
I agree.
That was like it was a mischance. I wanted to see somebody from Med in there.
I think we feel that way whenever there's a crossover of any kind in any of these shows.
Yeah, we love crossovers.
And I guess it's because it was at night, and most of them were like seemed to be day shift. I'm like, that's fine, but like, couldn't the next morning have like Will come and checked on her? Like, I mean, we could have worked this in somehow, I think.
I mean, they're all filming around the same time, right? Was it that big of a
For the most part, yeah.
Plus, Will, I mean, like, they all know each other, because, I mean, they work together. They all hang out at Molly's together. Like, he knows Kim well enough that he would have been by her room checking on her.
I need more Molly crossover.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
I don't really get to see Molly's on Fire. I'd like to see a lot more Molly's on PD
and Med.
Yeah, Med, I understand why we don't really see it that much. We don't really get to see any Chicago on Med. They can film Med, I feel like, anywhere, and it'd be fine because they're inside all the time.
Yeah.
But at least with PD, I mean, I feel like they should be at Molly's more.
I agree.
Then we can just see Mouch and Herman.
Yes.
I love Herman.
I know.
What?
No, I said I don't. I know. I do too.
Oh, I think you said I don't. I was like, what is the matter with you? Okay, so I think season 10 is going to be something worth watching. I think I'm really excited to see all my favorite characters again, because I actually miss them when they're gone. I had the advantage of binge watching all the shows over the summer, so I started in June. No, I started in like May, and I binge watched. I've been binge watching them all summer long, so I have the advantage of they're never far from me. But I am fully aware that once I'm caught up on all three of these shows, which I'm almost caught up on Fire, I'm fully caught up on PD, need to start Med yet. But once I'm caught up, it's going to be really hard to miss them. So season 10 coming in September, last week of September. Watch out for that. It'll be at NBC. We're going to be doing our NBC episodes. Did I say NBC weird? We're going to be doing NBC. We're going to be doing NBC episodes next season during the regular syndication. So you'll have one night. It's just going to be all the 3 Chicago shows that we're going to come at you with recaps, with thoughts, with breakdowns. It'll be great. Join our Chicago group of One Chicago Family Fan Club on Facebook. And that's it. So we'll see you next for our Fire conversation, I believe. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.